Moving on to another B tier movie, we have Avengers Endgame, which was in fact my pick. Guys.
Crazy pick.
This movie, yeah, it really didn't. I basically had the exact same complaints going into this as I did originally. So, yeah, this is the Avengers Endgame. This is the final movie of this, like, arc, I guess. I don't really know how comics work, to be honest.
Universe.
I mean, no, there's plenty of Marvel movies after this, right? Or, I don't know. I don't know how the fucking Avengers works. I might be retarded with how this works. Okay, but yeah, this is like taking place directly after the events of Infinity War. You know, Thanos snapped half of everyone out of existence. So we have the remainder people of the Avengers. They're trying to, you know, work towards getting Time Machine working so they can get people back. They figure that out. Fucking Tony Stark and Ant-Man comes out of nowhere and they figure out how to fucking time travel because they're geniuses or something. So they do that. They go back in time and they grab the Infinity Stones from past times, I guess, and then they use those and then make like a makeshift gauntlet so that they can snap people back into existence. They do that, the Hulk does it, he snaps everyone back into existence, but of course, while they're grabbing one of the Infinity Stones, Thanos from one of those past times gets word of what's happening and gets a way to, you know, teleport himself back because he gets the fucking robot chick to do it with their time machine thing. So Thanos comes back, there's a big old fucking fight, there's a big war happening between Thanos' troops and the Avengers and their troops and shit, you know, Wakanda forever and all that shit, women power. Thanos, of course, gets owned. He gets fucking murked. Tony Stark also gets fucking murked. And then they have a big, sad funeral for Tony Stark. Rest in peace. Fuck you, Scarlett Johansson. Your character sucks. You don't get a funeral. Anyways, that's Endgame. This movie is kind of mid for me still. I'm going to be honest. The time travel shit is probably my biggest flaw with it because it's stupid and they don't follow their own rules and it's really dumb to even try doing time travel shit if you're not going to be consistent with it at least.
Okay, listen, buddy, you motherfucker here.
What do you mean they don't follow the rules?
I think that this is going to be one of the very few instances in which Jackson and I, like, you know, really have a big discrepancy between, like, our feelings towards a film. Yeah, I like this movie a decent bit. The time travel, personally, for me, I feel like this film does time travel significantly better than most films incorporate time travel. They tell you right off the bat, hey, don't fucking worry about it too much, okay? Just sit back, enjoy the ride here, pal. And, like, even in terms of, like, you know, their rules that they set up and establish here, I don't really think that they, outside of the fucking, like, bullshit they do with, like, Steve at the very end, I don't really think they contradict it, like, really
the problem with them doing the thing with fucking Captain America at the very end is that because of that contradiction, it begs the question of why they didn't do certain things the entire rest of the fucking movie.
Don't worry about it, Jackson. Don't worry about it.
I am, though. It's a major plot hole. How am I supposed to ignore it?
How is it a major plot hole, Jackson? What would they have done differently if not for that?
Okay, Nico, let me break down how they do things differently. So, they were told, or specifically they said, you know, people are bringing up different examples of media in the movie that have different ways of doing time travel, and most of them, you know, specifically fucking Black Iron Man, I don't know what his name is, he brought up the idea of just killing baby Thanos, and we were told that could not work because, right, when you go back in time, you're not actually going back to, like, your current universe's time. You're going back to, like, a different point in time, like a different universe entirely, which is, like, the whole point of them grabbing the Infinity Stones from these places, because it's not going to affect their current time. It's just going to affect, like, the time stream of this previous dimension. But we see Captain America go back in fucking time and stay there, and guess what? He's still there, meaning his action of going back in time affected their current dimension, which is a major contradiction to how the time traveling works in this universe. So if it does work, right, if he can go back in time and affect the current dimension, why couldn't they just go back and kill fucking baby Thanos and have this not ever have happened in the first place? It makes no sense.
Consider this for a second, Jackson. Don't worry about it, dude, okay? I really see this movie as less of a film generally, and more of just an experience overall. Something, a big fucking blowout to finally just, like, celebrate this major accomplishment that was the entire just, like, sort of arc that they had here. The whole Infinity Stones arc that they had going on, okay? Like, the fucking bullshit that you're talking about here.
Bullshit.
Okay, look here for a second, okay, Jackson? What's more important here? This, like, stupid little continuity thing that you've built up in your head here, okay? Or just the nice, sweet ending that Steve Rogers, this man who is lost to time, finally gets to experience, okay? After all of the hardship he's experienced throughout these films, okay? Just, like, fucking not being able to, like, just, like, have a normal-ass life, okay? Constantly needing to worry about all this other bullshit. He can finally just, like, go back in time and dance with his girl, Jackson. Which of those is more important to you?
The continuity thing.
Kill yourself.
I think the heart-to-heart at this point, Nico, is kind of fruitless because Jackson, as we had discussed now before explaining the movie and when he picked the movie, has never seen any of the other Marvel movies. So you trying to explain that to him, as jokingly as that may or may not have been for you, really does nothing to him. Because I'm just gonna divert away from that. My big thing, and one of my big things, has always been I try not to overanalyze movies unless there's like actually a huge problem with it, because that just ruins the overall experience of the movie, which is kind of what's happening here. I kind of did exactly what Nico did. I briefly generally understood the quote-unquote rules they set out in this movie, and I'm not gonna, worry about it too awfully much, because it's like Nico said, this is just a big culmination to the end of an entire world/universe that they were building to this point. And it's the end anyway, so it's not like it really matters. I don't think disrupting what they'd said is that big of a deal, at least to me.
Why would it not matter if it's the end? If anything, it should matter the most if it's the end, because they want to go with, like, a bang, You want to have, like, a really good film, and obviously you guys do think it's a really good film, but if there's, like, such major continuity errors, massive fucking plot holes, and just literally the whole structure of how they're doing the ending. Them going back in time and resetting it all by doing time travel. If that doesn't make any fucking sense, then why would you not want that to be better?
I mean, look, Jackson, just in general, time travel is always going to have, like, these weird fuck-ups in literally any story that you could tell with it, okay?
Which is why I think they shouldn't have done it. I think they could have done something different than
You're
fucking
just saying
time
that
travel.
They shouldn't use time travel ever in anything, then. Because every story that involves time travel is going to have this sort of contrivance in it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a bad take. I don't think people should really do time travel unless they really think it out thoroughly and think about these things. Clearly, they didn't really think about these things. Or they probably did, but they just didn't fucking care because I knew the audience was going to go, oh my gosh, that's so sad and so cute! Anyways, I'm going to stop talking for the rest of this, I think.
That's the big issue here, is the part that... Because when you get to movies, try to break down their time travel, it's like we all kind of already discovered, it's never consistent with anything, even inside their own movies, and I think when you try to explain a man-made concept, there's not really a solid definition to how it works or what it is. In, like, the general view of time travel, it shouldn't exist, period, is how that works. And also, this is just a concept explained at the end of the movie, so it's not like it's something that's been, delved into. They kind of just
deviate from time travel a little bit here. We've been going over it for too long.
I don't even know what the fuck he was trying to say there. That was a whole lot of circular talking. Yeah, this movie definitely falls off hard if you haven't seen, all the other movies that came before it, like, relatively recently to seeing it. I don't think it's bad, though. I think it's still pretty entertaining. I really liked it still. Mm-hmm. It's goofy. The first half is way too slow, but as I admitted to you guys when we were watching the movie, god damn it, when Captain America, pulls his shield tight and he says, Avengers assemble, I still got goosebumps.
Dude, there's so many great little moments like that, all these fantastic little payoffs that have been built up throughout this entire fucking series, like the fucking big old suicide fight between fucking... Scarlett Johansson and Hawkeye, okay? That shit was fucking sweet, okay? Like, you just have these two people, they're just like, they're just so close. They're not romantic, though. Don't fucking read into that at all, you fucking sickos, okay? They're just real good friends. And you see them fucking battling it out because they don't want the other person to die. And in the end, fucking Scarlett Johansson, she just fucking throws herself off the cliff and she dies for this dude so he can go back and finally see his family. Speaking of which, just the cold open we have to this film, where we just watch as his entire family disappears and he's not even able to see any of it happen. Like, that shit's fucking nuts, okay? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I will say one side note that probably doesn't matter to you guys at all. They heavily nerfed a lot of the characters in this. It's kind of disappointing, but it makes sense for plot's sake, unfortunately. Because there are for sure a ton of characters in that final fight scene that can easily... I mean, we see it in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. The Scarlet Witch can easily just kind of do her own Thanos snap and fuck everything up, so... I
mean, this is like pre-WandaVision Scarlet Witch and shit, where she really started to figure out just, like, to what extent her powers, like, really were like, so I can kind of forgive it a little bit there.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange, I still fucking hate his powers as well, though, because they're so ill-defined. It's like, okay, so like he's preoccupied with like stopping all this water from just like drowning literally everybody right now, but also, why can't he just like make a wall or something? Isn't that something he should probably be able to do? Who knows?
He can literally do anything is the issue. Yeah, like I said, it's not a big deal. A lot of these characters are severely nerfed. I think the only person who wasn't nerfed was probably Captain Marvel, and I think it's because, as it's apparent, her story continuity is still continuing to this day with the release of their movie like a week or two ago. So, we got that.
I did like that she was barely in this movie at the very least, though.
She's probably one of my favorites, but...
Why?
Alas. I don't know, I think she's got cool powers. I like laser space magic, some kind of cosmic powered bullshit. I think it's cool.
What about like her actual character, though?
She doesn't have very much character. I like Doctor Strange, though. Doctor Strange and Iron Man are pretty cool. Spider-Man's pretty up there, too.
There we go.
And Thor. We did it.
Is that all anyone has to say about this movie?
Yeah, that was all my
the
thoughts.
big climax, that's all you have? That's all you have in you?
Oh, I mean, I could talk all day, but...
I think we should rank this movie before we let it tear us apart anymore.
This movie does have its flaws, albeit, however, like, you know, it's still a solid film overall, I would say. It's a fantastic ending to this entire saga. I'm gonna give it an A-.
Ooh.
I gave it an A.
Whoa. Jackson.
Dylan.
Oh.
Writing on a low note.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I really do think you would have benefited from watching all the other Marvel movies, but it's too late at this point. I gave this movie an A.
You guys might be thinking I'm gonna give this shit like a fucking D or something. No, I think that this movie definitely has lots of things going for it. I think it's pretty well shot overall. I think their character acting is pretty good. I liked a lot of the funny moments and like the sad things that were happening. This movie absolutely has massive plot holes, and I think the ending fight scene is really fucking goofy and could have been done totally differently. I think they fumbled a lot of that shit, but I still think it was entertaining throughout most of it, except for the first hour, which was boring. Anyways, I give this movie a B-.
Huh.
It was originally gonna get a B, but then those fucking women had to show up.
I totally
so
forgot
true.
about the woman shot. I thought that was... I laughed when that scene happened.
We all laughed.
Thank God.
Anyways,
laughing.
that put it at an A-. So it's still pretty fucking high, all things considered. Frankly, I didn't really rate it that lowly. It's still... I think it's a slightly above average movie.
By the way, I do remember like a little bit of controversy shortly before this film came out that I wanted to talk about here real quick that I just thought was very silly when I initially saw it. So, the fucking one chick, the fucking bald spear lady, people got really up in arms that like this like the only fucking person of color in this film, her name wasn't on the fucking
Valkyrie?
yeah, whatever. Her name wasn't on the poster, okay, for the movie when it was like initially being shown off, whereas like all these other big actors, their names were on there. Even though, you know, she has like maybe 2 lines in the movie and she also is not an important character whatsoever, I'd say. And so fucking I was about to say Chris Rudd. Chris Pratt was like, hey, just remove my name from the poster and put hers up there instead. So
What a guy.
she got her win in the end.
That's funny.
At what cost?